So then we can try to figure out this other part there, and AB and AEB and AED are congruent because of the hypotenuse leg, because we know one side of the triangle and the right angle 90 degrees. So then we can tell that BE and ED are congruent because of CPC-TC. Which says that the congruent parts of the triangles means that it's congruent. And then we get into the equations of the circles. So in standard form, the equation is always going to be x minus h squared, where h is going to be the x value, plus y minus k. K is always going to be your y value when plotting it into a graph, squared equals r squared, and r is equal to your radius. So then you can find your center by having h and k, which is your x and your y value here. But you do not carry over this, because this would make it negative. And notice over here this is a positive. So you just want to take this by itself and not the sign that goes with it in the standard form. And then in the general form is x squared plus y squared plus 8x plus by equals plus c equals 0. And an example to the general to standard. I'm actually going to do the example to standard to general first. So we have our x minus h, which is in this problem x minus 2 squared plus y minus k, or y plus 4 squared equals 1, radius squared. So then, what we know is that you can take this and we can factor it out, and it would give us this problem right there, this green portion. And then over here, our y plus 4 squared would be equal to y squared plus 8y plus 16 when it is all distributed out and multiplied and all that. So we can put those two equations together and combine like terms to get x squared plus y squared minus 2x plus 8y plus 19 equals 0. And we get 0 from this one being the square root of it. No, not square root. We took this out and put it into the problem to make it equal to 0. An example of general to standard is when we took x squared plus y squared plus 4x minus 10y minus 60 equals 0. So then we take this information, and there are the blanks here because this got moved over there and things got moved around a little bit. So then we now have x squared plus 4x plus blank plus 4 plus y squared minus 10y plus blank equals 60. So this is completing the square back to that, and so we know that we can get from here to there by adding 4, and that's what goes in that blank, the first blank there. And then over here we have to have 25, and that is how we would make it equal to 60. And since we had to add it to this side, we also have to add it to the other side of the equal sign. So that's why there's this plus 4 plus 25 over here. So then, using that, we can factor it out, condense it down, and that would be x plus 2 squared plus y minus 5 squared, and that would be equal to 89 when all of this is put together on the right side of the equation. So then we know that our center, when solve for x over here, that this is going to be negative 2 and this is going to be 5 as our y value, and this is going to be negative 2 x value. And our radius is going to be 9, and we figured that out from getting the square root of 89. Up top is some review of the midpoint formula and distance formula, and that would be important to use when graphing a circle and trying to figure out what is that center point, and also the distance can be used to find either the radius or the diameter of the circle, or a chord, or anything else that would be from one point of the circle to another point of the circle. And this is just a problem with some numbers to use the distance formula there, or midpoint, and this one is the distance formula. So we know that the endpoints of a diameter are 4 and -1 and -6, 7. So to find the midpoint to get to the center, you would plug in the numbers of the first x right there, 4, and then you use this other, you would add it to the second x, -6, and divide it over 2. And then for your y values would be your first y value plus your second y value, -1 plus 7 over 2. You solve for that and you get -1, 3, so then that is your center value, or your midpoint of your circle. Then you can use the distance formula to get the radius length, as it says in example 2 over here. The distance between the point of -1, 3 and 4, -1. So you always want to keep your variable on this side because that's what you're solving for, and then you plug in your second x value minus your first x value, so that's how we get 4 minus -1 squared plus second, or this is just the first y value over here minus the other y value. Square it, and then we end up getting, with these numbers, 25 plus 16, and that would be 41, and then we still have this squaring on top of it, so then you want to take the square root of 41, and then that is our radius. So we know the square root of 41, that is not a whole number. The equation of the circle, x plus 1 squared plus y minus 3 squared equals 41, and that is what we got from this information right here, and that's how we were able to find the equation to fit this one. These points, and then finding the radius, and that's how we got that. And that is the end of this lesson in like a brief review. Yep.